right, go ahead, get that ready. Ready? Cool. Hey, what's shaking, YouTube world? We're Breathe In, and we're officially on Blank Tape performing for y'all today. My name is Shola, lead singer of the band.
Brian, lead guitar.
I'm Paul. I play drums.
What's up? I'm Rob. I play bass.
I'm Topeng. I'm the rhythm guitarist.
And we make up the band Breathe In. Thanks for watching us today, and it's time for y'all to learn a little bit about us.
What inspired the band name?
So one day I was driving in my car, and we were trying to think of a band name, and we wanted something that was not too many syllables. And this band that I really like, this like melodic death metal band, they're called Moonspell, and their 2015 album Extinct, the opening track is called Breathe Until We Are No More. And it starts off with like this really like haunting voice saying, breathe in, breathe out. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. So I was like, hey guys. And I made a logo real quick too, sent it to the group chat, and I was like, hey guys, what about this? And they all loved it. So I was like, all right, good. Cool. And now we're stuck with it.
What bands or artists are you inspired by?
Ooh, I love answering this question. Growing up, I figured out I could sing when I was in kindergarten, and I was listening to a lot of Usher and R&B because I grew up in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Pivoted over to like rock and new metal, so, Korn, Disturbed, Linkin Park, all that fun stuff, which I still listen to. As I got a little bit older, got into like Japanese rock and metal, Visual K, which I still listen to. So like artists like Gact, The Gazette, Deer and Gray, and the list kind of goes on. If we're talking about currently, like love Jaluka, and we just opened for them, which was sick. Bad Omens, Motionless in White. Yeah, the list goes on. I'm greedy.
Mostly just that song that plays when you call someone and they use Cisco phone service and you hear that absolute banger of like a waiting track. That's been my primary influence. Other than that, just the antics of hardcore bands and punk bands in the local scene I grew up with, along with some larger artists like Bring Me the Horizon, Day to Remember, things of that nature.
So my favorite band is Polyphia, and I feel like I grew up listening to a lot of like emo music. So I feel like a lot of my chord choices and just songwriting revolve around that. I also had like a hip hop, R&B, jazz phase, so I try to incorporate all those elements like into the music I create now.
Or I guess a few of my biggest genre that I love the most is power metal. I love Sabaton, I love Dragon Force, Manowar. But I also love Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. I'm huge on like that old school heavy metal, like punchy sound. Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden, man, that's like my biggest inspiration when it comes to drums. I also love a lot of newer stuff too. Orbit Culture is one of my favorite bands that's kind of recent. And these guys are getting me into their stuff too. So I'm starting to like some of the, Bad Omens a little bit. So, Polyphia is pretty cool too. So, it's awesome, man.
BTS. I'm actually serious now. I grew up listening to a lot of like the new wave of American heavy metal and a little bit of the metalcore. I guess a little bit of scene growing up, but like I kind of geared towards bands that had like really intricate lead guitar work. So like Escape the Fate, Bullet for My Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold, Black Veil Brides. And I'm a little bit of a hybrid of like Shola's influences too. Like I love J-Rock and, VK on a surface level. So, bands that deliver the high energy, Crossfaith, Jaluka, Dexcore, Nocturnal Bloodlust, when Breathe In formed like a huge thing in mine when it came to influences is like the energy of the live show. So I try my best to translate that in my writing, as well as, doing crazy solos that I could split the crowd apart like the seas. So
what was the inspiration for the song White Flag?
So White Flag came about when I first started this project with Paul. And the inspiration from the song was just being fed up. It came from a place of aggression. I've played in various bands before, and I've seen like the back end of it where it's like, you have to write a 3-minute song that's going to fit in radio. You can't have this much double bass, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which, it makes sense. But like sometimes you just write a banger and it's like you're denied. So it's just like that frustration at the industry. If you were to hear like a Final Boss music and like, I don't know, like Guilty Gear or Final Fantasy, like something inspired by that, And the lyrics also reflect that kind of intensity where it's almost like someone going to war, someone going to battle, that calm before the storm where it's like, you get underestimated. It's like, don't underestimate me. Like, you're going to see.
What made you guys change up your lineup?
Yeah, coming in deep with the questions. But so we actually went through a lineup change in July, and we incepted Shola and Topang into the band. We ended up parting ways with our previous singer, and there was another person behind the scenes as well, just because, like, on a logistical standpoint, it worked out fine when we started out, but looking long term, it wasn't like looking feasible. And our former singer, he ended up starting to go down a career path that required a lot of his time and focus. So we had to really think to ourselves, like, okay, do we really want to like get the ball rolling, or is this gonna kind of just, we had to sit and wait. So we ended up making the executive decision to move forward with a new lineup. And Shola's been around the scene and been killing it, and he's an extremely talented vocalist. So it was a no-brainer for him to be the first choice. So yeah.
Thank you.
Here's another hard-hitting question. What are your guys' current rigs?
So I'm really bad with gear. I use a 7-string blue Ibanez. Sounds cool. The 6-string I use is a Charvel DK24. That I definitely know. For my pedal board, I run through a Line 6 Pod HD 500X. There's a lot of cool tones on it. Honestly, I just use the presets and just tweak it to whatever I like. And a lot of the recording stuff, we usually go through like Neural DSP.
I guess I'll start from my bass and end at the amp. I've got an Ibanez Iron Label multi-scale 5-string. From that, it goes into an Outlaw Effects tuner and power supply, which gives me enough power to run my digital effects I have. From there, Electro-Harmonic silencer, Joyo Sila compressor, Line 6 HX1, which I use in place of the popular drop pedal to do my pitch shifting. And then from that into a one of the Line 6 relay wireless setups into my Dark Glass Alpha Omega 200 amp.
I don't have too much going on because I'm, the vocalist. My preference in microphones are generally Sennheiser. I actually had a Neumann that I used for this show recently. If we're talking about recording gear, because 90% of the stuff that is recorded is literally in my home studio / bedroom setup. I've been using the Slate virtual microphone system, and I've been running that through Vault 2 interface, and then just kind of going from there in Logic and, just banging out the vocals.
All right, so in terms of acoustic drums, I have a PDP X7 7-piece right here. I have Zildjian S cymbals, 2 crashes and a ride and the hi-hat, and my China is a Stag. I think it's a 12-inch Stag. For electric drums, I have an Alesis kit, and I built it up to be the same size, 7-piece with all the cymbals. But actually, Shola got me onto the Slate digital drums package, and I've been using that to record our next batch of singles. And man, that thing is awesome because you can fine-tune the drums to sound exactly like my real acoustic kit. It's awesome, man. Now let's not forget the hardware. Vader 5B, they are the best drumsticks I've ever used. They're so strong, they have such a nice fat tone, and man, I don't think I've broken one yet. They're great. Vader 5B, sponsor me, please. Oh, I forgot my snare. Yeah, my snare. One of the most important pieces of the kit, and I completely forgot. So it's a Ludwig aged chestnut, 14-inch, 7-inch thickness. It is so awesome, and it has such a really nice warm tone. That's a sample for you right there. That paired with the Vader 5Bs, you can't beat it, man. It's awesome.
So I almost exclusively use BC Rich guitars. For my live set, I use a BC Rich Shredzilla 7 Archtop Prophecy. That one's got passive pickups, DiMarzio. And for my 6-string, I use a BC Rich Mockingbird Pro X. And those run through EMG 81s and EMG 60. For my amp, I use a Kemper Profiler, and I use a mix of the Andy James STL tones as well as custom profiles from Atrium Audio. And when it comes to my, I guess the different settings that I have, for my rhythm, I use a profiled Diesel Herbert. And for my leads, I use PV6505 Plus. Cleans, I use Vox AC30. And in terms of my pedals, I just use a Digitech drop tune pedal. And sometimes, depending on the song, I use a EVH signature wah, because my signature colors are black and yellow, and I like to look like a bumblebee, I guess. So, but yeah, and picks, I use Ernie Ball Prodigies, and I use really thick poise, the 1.5 millimeters.
What's each of your favorite thing about Breathe In right now?
Shut up. I was getting there, right? But so prior to Breathe In, I've been going under the moniker Sholo Aurora, and that was the project that Thopeng and I were fronting for damn near 7-8 years plus. To be able to go from writing what essentially was 5-piece music, but performing it with 2 to 3 people and then backing tracks, to now not only be able to like bring these songs to life as a collective unit, but also get to do it like as a group and work with other people and hear fresh ideas and, you know, combine each other's thought process to create something new, even from some stuff that, you know, we may have shelved in the past before, or may, you know, now are revisiting with fresh eyes, has really been like just like a rewarding experience. And then also just the love of professionalism we've all brought in, where we've tried for years to like work with other people and it just didn't work. Whereas this, we all came in with the same goal and the same level of expectation and skill set, and we're executing so well. And I'm super excited for like what we're going to bring to the world.
Besides all of what Shola said, which is great, and I agree. One of the other things that I really like about this band so much is the different genres that we all love, and melding them together into our original songs are so awesome, because you get these really tight metalcore kind of style riffs, and then you get these old school heavy metal style like drums with a lot of toms and a lot of fills, and these really modern, really crisp, clean vocals and growls and a driving bass. It's such a cool mix that like you don't really hear nowadays, and I just love that mix of old school and new school, and it's totally unique. I love it.
Paul's triceps. No, but in all seriousness, I think it's the maturity and like the experience that all of us bring to the table. And I think the best part about working with these 4 talented musicians is that we've all been through the industry, and we've all like had moments of, you know, ups and downs. We've seen both the good and the ugly. So I feel like now it's like we got nothing to lose. We know what the game is, and, you know, we know what to do. And just the skill sets that everybody brings to the table outside of, you know, being talented songwriters and musicians. Like, you know, Paul edits and does films and just spearheads our creative direction. And, you know, I do a lot of the social media and the marketing aspects and the branding. Rob is a engineering whiz. Shola is a sound engineer that he actually has a degree for it. So he's as legit as can get. And Topeng is just like a musical savant. Like when it comes to guitar, like this, I don't think I've ever met like a guitarist this creative. Like I could shred, but like Topeng is so much more well-rounded. So it like his creativity just bleeds so much and really adds like a fresh aspect to like the more straightforward sound that we were approaching. So yeah, I love you guys.
Oh, I love it.
For me, I'm just thinking back to like right when the pandemic started, right before I was touring with my old project very heavily, and then it just, with the pandemic, everything just came to a screeching halt, as we all know. And with that included, you know, playing shows and making music. And initially, all of these ideas, it's like, oh, I'm going to have so much free time. I'm going to write so much. And when the pandemic ends, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do it all. But then you just end up sitting around depressed in the house and just unmotivated, and nothing came out of it. And I was starting to enter a place where I wasn't sure if I was ever going to be performing music again, or at least in this capacity. And Breathe In represents a fresh start to me for that, another chance to perform in front of people, to make music. And I couldn't ask for a better group of musicians to do it with. So that's what Breathe In means to me.
I don't know if it's like sort of a deep answer, but I just really like the different perspective that everyone has. because obviously everyone is different. We all have different mindsets, and we have the same goal in mind. So it's nice seeing us be a cohesive unit. I don't know, it's pretty cool because it's like we all think differently, but it just all leads to the same goal in the end. Going off Rob too, I feel like a couple of years ago, I wasn't really taking music as seriously, and I feel like I was kind of on the tail end of it. So another thing that I love about Breathin' is like, I guess opportunity. I get to showcase myself to like, I guess a bigger audience. I don't know what to say. No knock on us, but you know, like, it's just different. Yeah.
So for you guys, is there any dream venues or cities that you want to play?
So I think, the philosophy is you got to conquer your city before you can conquer the world. In my earlier career, I was like, I want to do Webster Hall. And my first band, we did all floors of that. I wanted to tour Japan, and I did that as well with the Cholo Aurora. So I think, I don't know if there is a venue per se, but I would like to play just bigger shows in terms of numbers and play with some key artists that have been influential. So I don't really have a specific answer for that. I'm just more excited to continue to grow and see where it lands.
I would love to play the Sabaton Open Air Festival in Sweden. I mean, it's a dream of mine to just play in Europe in general. And, you know, big festivals, I love that whole crowd and I love the whole scene. Just keep playing bigger shows, keep growing. Doesn't really matter where, as long as the crowd is crazy and Shola knows how to work a crowd. So I know that's always going to work out. But yeah, man, I just want to keep growing, just keep building, play anywhere, really.
I mean, you know, there's a difference between like the dream venues versus like more like tangible ones. So I'll start with like tangible. It'll be nice to play Starland Ballroom and Irving Plaza again with Breathe In this time. But if we're talking dream venues, I'm going all in. We're talking Madison Square Garden, Red Rocks, Tokyo Dome, all that stuff. But I love playing festivals. Like, you know, I've some of my dream ones are, you know, of course, Download Festival, Reading and Leeds. Is it Reading and Leeds or Reading and Leeds? That one's a little bit more pop oriented, but I feel like we could break through if we, you know, try hard enough. You know, Vakken, I just love the sound of, you know, like the live music through the festivals, like the crack of the drums, and just it's such a great. That's the goal.
Well, for me, a lot of the venues I really want to play have closed down over the years. So really it comes down to, you know, it would be great to play some giant venues, but I really want to play the places that I went as a kid and looked up and watched all these artists that influenced and inspired me. So I would have to say Starland Ballroom is certainly one of them. The Franklin Music Hall, which at the time was the Electric Factory, Union Transfer, which wasn't really around when I was a kid, but I just love that venue. And I guess the TLA on South Street. So a lot of Philly venues that I just went to plenty of times and haven't had the opportunity to perform at.
I really love Starland Ballroom. I never thought about like performing there, but it would be nice. Yeah, I think just like Shola and Paul, I just want to play bigger shows, you know, showcase ourselves to way more people, better opportunities.
Kind of to piggyback off that, like besides dream shows and cities, is there a dream like tour lineup that you'd want to be on with other bands?
Don't do that. Like I said, I'm greedy. Like, you give me, some Bad Omens, you give me Gucked, you give me the Gazette, like this, which is never gonna happen. It's a logistical nightmare. You know what I mean? Some Maximum, the Hormone, like so, and that's one thing I will say, because our influences are so vast. It's just kind of like it'd be damn near impossible to get all of those particular artists in one particular lineup.
No, I mean, besides all the bands I listed before that I'd love to tour with all of them. But I'd also want to tour with like my friends' bands too. I would just love to kind of start a new movement with a new wave with our peers and friends and everything. I think that would be really awesome. Maybe make our own new big giant festival, multi-day festival. You know, bring some metal into America. Get a nice big show going.
So again, there's the separation of tangible ones and like more dream ones. For the more dream ones, like I love Crossfaith, Nocturnal Bloodlust, some of the most energetic bands from Japan. Crystal Lake, that'd be really cool. But any band that we're pretty much flexible with, and I think would be a good opportunity for us to grow. Like I'm down for. I grew up listening to Black Veil Bride, so it'd be cool to play with them. In terms of more tangible, like Paul says, we have a lot of friends in the scene that are making a killing. So like to play shows with them would be really cool. Like Stain the Canvas from Italy, and yeah.
I'll have the controversial opinion here. I think it would be cool to tour with Falling in Reverse. I said what I said. Coheed and Cambria would be a pretty good one to tour with. I could see that. I would love to tour with Electric Callboy from Germany. That would be a fun band to tour with. But I'm also on board for any of my friends' bands that are actively working, of which I've got a bunch as well. I would love to go on the road with any number of them.
Honestly, I don't really have any bands that I can like really say I would love to play with. I mean, I'd love to play with like probably most of the bands I listen to, but off the top of my head, I guess just like my friends' bands or like, cause I'm also in a band and other projects as well. So I feel like it would be cool playing like a double show. I mean, that would be really tiring, but I would do that. Like that just sounds so fun.
Will there be an album coming soon?
I think we'll be a little vague here. So there are things in the work. It's really just a matter of timing and logistics, getting more people finding us about us, and then also just being honest with the industry from my experience. And may not talk for the band, but this is just me. I think an album is something that is important for the timing. There are enough ears and people are wanting and demanding it. That way, it's not something that we just put out there and it just gets swept up in a storm. We're more about building this great thing that is Breathe In, connecting with more of y'all, being able to do more shows, put out more content, really create not just music, but this cult of cultural, sort of interactive, artistic sphere that we're building. But yeah, it will come. For now, I'd be more excited about what's coming next.
Yeah, I agree with Sholo on that sentiment. And even though people say like, oh, like the music industry is moving away from albums, etc., I still think albums do have a place and in music in general. And I think there's sort of like a collection / like chapter aspect when it comes to albums. And I think that beauty's kind of been missing with the music industry a lot. So I think for us, like definitely at some point in the near future, like we definitely would want to do an album. But, we still have to kind of like build our grounds up a little bit and, spread the word a little bit more before that becomes a tangible thought.
I was going to say, albums have really fallen off in general in the music industry. And while I'm not opposed to doing one, I do think it's you get a lot more genuine music coming from a band that's focusing more on singles, because then each one of them is going to have a lot more attention and time put into it, as opposed to just making some stuff that may or may not be undercooked just to hit whatever the threshold was. I think timing is an important thing, and I think having a cohesive body of work first, which in this case is going to be various singles and whatnot, is far more important. That being said, we might do some limited physical media for the stuff we are putting out, so keep an eye out.
Honestly, I would love to make an album. I feel like an album kind of just represents a body of work that, like, I don't know, it's just something that can't really be, like, represented. No, fuck. I feel like an album is, like, albums are just cool, man. I'll say how.
We good on that one? You good?
Truly,
Yeah, okay.
Inspirational.
That's good.
Is there any idea or any hints of when the next time you guys are going to be playing a show?
That's an interesting one. The demand is there, but we are making it kind of our business to make each show both an experience and worth the time and effort that people come out to come see us when we do that. Like our debut was kind of like almost in a way like a once in like a lifetime sort of like melding of like those influences. To be opening for Jaluka was phenomenal. I think it was the right crowd. It was completely sold out. And we opened for for them to a room of like 95% of the people didn't know who we were, didn't know anything about us. And by the end of that show, we made so many new fans. We almost sold out of all the merch we brought that night. We connected with folks. Some of those folks, it was their first concert. And we also thought it was kind of like a proof of concept. It was like, hey, in a room full of strangers who came for someone else, we were able to connect in such a strong way that now people are pining for more. So we definitely do plan to do shows. We just want to do it right. We want to make it worth everyone's time. We're bringing a level of quality that you expect, and the shows are going to reflect that.
Besides this band, which is a great culmination of your talents, are you guys also involved in other projects?
So I've been Sholo Aurora for some time. It's been like, 8 years or so? And that was after Bill Bangs and I's first band, Solar Door, when that band ended. So we've been playing for a very long time together. In a sense, we kind of learned each other's language and grew. I've forced a lot of like some of the habits he has now. I'm taking like some of that shine from you. But the way I look at it is this: Sholo Aurora is still, it's me. It's, I think in a way it's like the biggest expression of myself. That is taking a back seat for Breathe In. But like as things go on and maybe there's a place for it, I can always revisit. There's always a mountain of songs we've been sitting on. And I think maybe coming back to that will allow me to look at it with fresh eyes. I still plan to every so often put out some covers and things like that on my YouTube channel, just to kind of like keep people engaged and aware and just show off my skill set as a vocalist.
So in terms of other projects musically, I'm not in other projects musically right now, but with these guys in Blanktape and my other friends, like I work a lot in the film industry, cinematography, camera work, G&E, which is like grip and electric and stuff like that, and all those connections that I make and all those friends that I make here, I like to meld them together, like we just did for this show, and I'm super grateful for these guys. Keep us moving up, keep our visuals top notch, keep us moving forward.
I guess when I'm not doing this, I like to try to design and build things. So I take custom guitar pedal work for people who are looking for guitar pedals. Either designing something by request, or I'm trying to cook something up a little new and unique that the world doesn't have yet.
I guess the only thing that was on my plate at the time, like last year, was the Shola Aurora project. I don't want to say we were waiting for an opportunity, but like the more we kept putting in the work and searching, I want to say Breathe In found us, I play with Ben Shooter, solo artist, very cool. I do my own stuff on the side too. Like, I don't know, I just really love creating. So when I'm not doing Breathe In, I'm still just making music.
So once again, we are Breathe In, and this is our blank tape session. There's one more time. All right, come on, let's take it again. Ready?
We are breathing, and this is
Okay. All right, so 1, 2, 3. We are Breathe In, and this is our blank tape session. Thanks for having us. Look out for us in 2025. Peace.